Hi everybody, sanibonani, welcome to my channel. Igama lami Ntando Mdletshe, and on this channel siyaye sibuke ama reality shows ethu ala eMzansi bese siza la sokhuluma ngawo lama shows. Siyaphinda ke futhi sikhulume ngama celebrities kanye nama YouTubers ethu ala eMzansi. If it's your first time joining me today and you like my content, there is a subscribe button la ngezansi and a notification bell so that you can get ama notifications uma ngabe umsebenzi omusha sesi wufakile. You guys listen. The case Senzo Meyiwa, of course, it's keeping us occupied and very busy and very entertained at the same time, even though it's something that is very serious, that is not supposed to be entertaining, but it's becoming that way right now. Of course, you guys, there's been talks of a documentary, another one that is going to come out, and if family Meyiwa is not happy with that, you guys. I have heard ukuthi if someone is a public figure, if someone is a public figure or they are considered a public figure, like they do not, if someone wants to produce something, do some production or documentary or a movie or a series on their life, they actually do not need to get a permission in a family, and they do not need to get even if the person is still alive, they do not need to get their permission to actually do a documentary on the person's life. They can actually do it without getting any permission whatsoever if a person is considered a public figure. So my understanding is that the only thing that you will have to prove is that this person is a public figure, and people knowing about their life is of public interest, you guys. So I do not know if family Senzo Meyiwa would actually succeed in preventing any of these documentaries that are coming out coming out, you guys. Also, I think it's very interesting that we've already had one documentary and we've watched it, and there's another one that is coming out. And a lot of the times when I do AMA videos about Senzo Meyiwa's case, a lot of people would say, but this is not what happened, this is what happened. But this is what they say happened. And if you ask Utumutu, but where did you get that from? They always say from the documentary. People assume that things that we saw on that first documentary, they're true. Like, it's like they're proven to be true. Just because people say that this is what happened does not mean that they can lie on a documentary. Also, when you're producing, it's a production, and when they produces with a certain purpose, and sometimes they want to drive, they themselves, the producers of a documentary, they want to drive a certain narrative too. So either way, we have to be skeptical. Even if you watch the documentary, that does not mean that that's really what happened. That is also edited a certain way because they had a certain purpose in mind when they were producing that documentary. So it's interesting that even though we've seen that one, other people are still wanting to produce another one, which means other people that want to drive another narrative also want to the public to see that narrative that they also want to drive. So it's very sad, you guys, because at the end of the day, we really just are not going to know for sure what happened on that day, and most unfortunately, the family is not going to know what happened on that day. Anyway, you guys, as we move along, let's just read this a very short article on what's happening with this docu that the family is not happy about. Okay. This article comes from IOL, and it was written like 21 hours ago. I don't know why I said 21. Okay. So it says, the legal showdown is looming between the producers of a second documentary on Bafana Bafana goalkeeper Senzo Meyiwa's mysterious death and family, which the family said they knew nothing about. The documentary, according to the producers, was to reveal the discussion between Senzo's mother and Chico Thwala. The Thwala and the Meyiwa family left the South Africans guessing last week when the media reported that Thwala had surprisingly shown up, in Mdletshe to see the Meyiwas. As we have understood recently that Chico Thwala says that it wasn't a surprise. Well, the public was surprised that he visited, but it wasn't a surprise to Senzo Meyiwa's mom, and it wasn't a surprise to the family because they had been called and informed. But to date, both Meyiwas and Thwalas have not revealed the purpose of their visits and the discussion between them. And actually, they have revealed it. Because Thwala said he just wanted to help the family, even though we do not know if that is true, you guys. um, Senzo's brother Senzo Meyiwa has vowed to block the release of the documentary, arguing that the family was not informed of it. He said, although Thwala visited the family last week, the family knew nothing about the documentary and learned of it on social media. Meyiwa said the family was shocked and angered by one of the producers, Zakhele Shiba, for producing such work without the family's knowledge and approval. I came to know about this when someone sent me a poster talking about the documentary, and soon got a call from Shiba. When I asked him, he said he had told me about it, and I told him that at no stage had we discussed a documentary with him. So we are not going to allow any documentary on Senzo without our approval. People have seen an opportunity to make money out of my brother's death. Shiba must come here and ask for permission, then tell me how much the family would get out of a documentary, said Meyiwa. Okay, he said they still had issues with the money his mother received from Netflix, and would not allow another documentary without a proper explanation on how the family would benefit from it. Meyiwa refused to give details of his mother's discussion with Thwala, but it is believed it was around Thwala's son Longwe, who was also in the house when Senzo was killed. Shiba said the documentary work had been completed and would be released to the public soon. He said he was not bothered by what the Meyiwa family was saying, and said the documentary will be released whether the Meyiwas want it or not. He said the work would be released online. Shiba added that people who were eager to know why Thwala visited the Meyiwas would know in a few days. He said the documentary Senzo, the second docket, will reveal the content of Thwala's discussion with Senzo's mother, as well as comments from the people who were in the house in Flores on the fateful nights in 2014 when Meyiwa was killed. Shiba, a former journalist, said he organized a meeting between Senzo's mother and Thwala because he wanted to do a documentary, adding that it was the reason both parties revealed what was discussed because it would be in the documentary. He said some of the people who were in the house when Senzo was shot had agreed to speak about what happened, but some were reluctant, arguing that the matter was in court. I organized a meeting and took Thwala to the Meyiwas to meet Senzo's mother as part of a documentary production. All I can say is that Mzansi will know everything very soon. Like I said, you guys, the documentary might actually come out whether the Meyiwa's family want to or not, and they might not even have a way to fight it, to fight against it legally. What I don't like though about these producers is that they seem to be sneaky, because it looks like when Chico Thwala visited the family, he was actually shooting a documentary, but they didn't tell the family. Because if you're going to shoot at my house, at least tell me that the purpose for your visit, the reason the cameras are there is because you're shooting a documentary. Don't shoot and then hide it from me that you are shooting a documentary, even though I might not benefit from it, because it looks like legally they might not have a way of fighting it and getting that money from a documentary. There's a lot of sneakiness that is going on here, you guys. I feel sorry for this family. But I think hundreds of documentaries are going to be coming out, because people want to tell this side of the story, and then this one wants to tell this side of the story, and this one wants to make money from this point of view, and this one wants to make money from this point of view. So it's gonna be interesting, you guys. It's sad, but I don't think that the family is actually going to be able to stop people from releasing these documentaries that they keep releasing. Anyway, you guys, tell me what you think about this issue in the comment section. Please like the video before Pumegona. Share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ntanda kakhulu.